Hi, I'm Judge Ron Arnone, and this is our first show we're doing live, and I'm here with Susan Roberti, and Susan does her own show called Tail Waggers, and it's a great show. It's been on BPTV for quite a long time, and I'm honored to be here with Susan today to sort of introduce our new show, or my new show, I guess I should say. Which is going to be called Beyond the Bench with Judge Ron Arnone. And we're just here to sort of introduce the new show. And Susan's kind of taking me under her wing a little bit.
And I'm going to ask you questions.
Yes.
How about that?
And I'm looking greatly forward to it.
So we get to know you.
That's right.
Huh. Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, the way I'm going to start out is the way I met you. And that was about a month ago. And we were invited, the school guards were invited, which I am proud to be one, up to the municipality building, and we were all nervous why we were coming. And we came up, and walked in, and there was coffee and donuts, and this young man. And we all sat down, and he said, "Thank you." And you have no idea, sweetheart, what that meant to us. Oh, you have no idea. And he thanked us and said how important we are and the hard work that we do. And it was really, really wonderful to hear that coming from such a nice person. And I know from all the school guards we say thank you.
Thank you.
Really. So when he said he was going to do a show, I said, "May I help?" And he said, "Sure." So now we're here today. Now, how did you get into law?
Well, let me step back one brief moment because I want to thank you for being a friend, and actually that was the second time we met. We met back on, I think it was Community Day. That was the first. Remember when you actually interviewed me?
Yeah.
But you're such a pleasant person to be around, and it's a joy for me to be here. And I wanted to recognize the crossing guards and the folks that do such a great job with our kids and our community, and I believe you guys are really the foundation of our community. So
well, thank you, because sometimes we're the target in the morning if someone has a fight with their wife and to come down, and then sometimes we have someone that doesn't like authority. And then there's the people that think we're old and we should be at home in a rocking chair. And but most of the time it's a lot of fun, and we really do thank you for letting us know that we're appreciated, because that was a long time coming.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad that I was driving down the road one day and I saw one of the crossing guards, and I thought, geez, I want to meet them. They're great people, and they do a great job on behalf of our community and keeping our kids safe.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised Christmas time, the gifts that we get, and we really do love our job, Your Honor. We really do.
That's
and
awesome.
we're just so proud that you said thank you.
Yeah, you have a great group of people.
Yeah. Okay, tell us, how did you get into law?
Well, gosh, it's a kind of a long story. I've been involved in law enforcement for a really long time. Back, actually, as a kid, 18 years old, I was a special deputy sheriff in Allegheny County.
Wow.
And kind of got interested, through my dad, and I did that for quite some time. And
now, did you have to go to school?
Yeah, training. I had to go to special training for that as well.
Wow.
And that's kind of where it sort of started. My interest started.
Now, did you that was different than your peers to go and do something like that? Did people scatter, or did they kind of accept you?
Yeah, I mean,
You're good friends.
Some did. Oh yeah, but I always had good friends, and but the reality is that you know who your friends are, at that point in time, and that's a good thing to find out. But yeah, I did that for quite a while, and then just being in the business community for a really long time, and my passion still was always law enforcement. I got into government for a while. I was on council in Brentwood. I was the youngest elected mayor at one
Wow.
time. And I actually ran the police department there. I was the chief officer of the police
Oh
department.
my.
Yeah. And that continued my interest in law enforcement.
And you learned.
Yeah,
I bet
oh
you
my
you
gosh.
learned
Yes.
and learned, huh?
Learned so much. Then eventually, after we sold our operating companies, I said, geez, what am I going to do now? I've done the government thing and the business thing. Well, I went back to my origin, which was law enforcement.
Oh.
Went to the Allegheny County Police Academy.
Oh.
And then was hired by the Attorney General's office. And then I went to the State Academy, and then a special training academy in Austin, Texas. And eventually, I spent over a decade with the Attorney General's office in criminal investigations.
Oh.
So it kind of all came full circle.
Wow. Which one did you find the most exciting?
I look at it, I think they were all exciting. It was exciting to run a business. It was exciting to be in government and be, a public official and help change the direction of my community and have an impact, a positive impact.
Yes.
And then also in the Attorney General's office, it was
Now,
interesting.
what was that like?
It was trying at times. I mean, I wore a gun and badge every day, and
Wow.
I did some extensive and complex criminal investigations.
Wow.
Through the years, I worked in areas that were some tough areas, like the Hill District, Homewood, North Side, Aliquippa Terrace, Ambridge, Brushton. I mean, some tough, Wilkinsburg, some tough areas in southwestern Pennsylvania that were sort of high crime areas. And I saw a lot of interesting cases.
Oh,
I
I
worked a lot
bet.
of drug diversion and had a lot of community involvement and impact.
And I bet you when you left a lot of friends back there, huh?
Absolutely. A lot
Yeah,
of good friends.
you
who are
made
still
friends.
friends.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
bet you did.
It's what's great about my experience of over 25 years plus
Aw.
of in the business community and government and in law enforcement.
Wow.
And I think that's kind of what brings me here today as the district judge, because there's not too many people that can say they have that trio of
Exactly.
experience.
Well, you know something, those are stepping stones. And I think if you believe in a higher power, I think he sends you on a mission. And
Absolutely.
you just don't ask, just do. And he'll always get you there and over that way. But every lesson that you learned got you to where you are today.
Without a doubt, and I certainly believe in
And now,
higher
how
power big time.
how did you get to be the district judge?
Again, I had to go through a special training. I spent 5-6 weeks in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania,
Wow.
where I went through a board certified training course, and then at the end of it, I had to take an extensive test
Wow.
that was about 6 hours long, and had to write 6 essays and answer over 100 questions, true, false, and fill in the blank, and pass the test. And here I am. A lot of people don't know this too. Over 75% of magisterial district judges are not attorneys.
Oh, really? You don't have to be?
Yes, it's the only in the judiciary. You don't have to be an attorney to be a magisterial district judge in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Wow. But you do have to have a great knowledge of the law.
You have to have a great knowledge of the law, and
Yes.
that I do. Yeah.
I can see the twinkle in your eye. You do, yeah. And you like your job too, huh?
I love public service.
Yeah.
I love giving back to my community
Aw.
and serving people in their best interest, and trying to make a positive impact and be proactive, reaching out to children, to seniors, and everybody in between.
Now, what kind of goals do you have?
Oh, I have so many goals. I do. To continue to run an efficient, effective court, to administer fair an equitable justice to the area, and to run my administration in a way that everyone can be proud of.
Oh,
That's professional and that's high standard.
wow.
The other goals and objectives I have is to really infiltrate our community with good, positive, not only experiences that I've had, but to correlate that with all my connections that I've made over the years and bring that all back to the community. And we have some exciting presentations coming up. One, we just did the Darker Side of Technology series, where we reached over 6,000 kids at middle school level.
Wow.
In the South Hills, and that series encompassed subject matter such as dealing with online predators and issues related to sexting and bullying, cyberbullying, and with social media and Facebook and all the other issues that are out there today, it's a really relevant subject matter.
Now, did you help develop that?
I did.
Wow.
Yeah, I developed helped develop the curriculum, and also I had again, tapping into a very good friend, Jim Dill, who was a Chief Deputy Attorney General and in charge of a lot of our training at the Attorney General's office. He's since retired, but he now does this for a living.
Oh.
He goes all over the country and gives presentations and seminars. I brought him here to Bethel Park.
Wow.
And in Upper St. Clair, and we were so honored to have him, and we collaborated together to come up with this presentation, along with Judge Reschenthaler from over in South Park,
You know,
Jefferson.
that is really a needed, very needed thing with the little ones,
Big
because I'm learning how to email, as I emailed you.
Yep.
I'm learning, and I'm almost 70. But the little ones, they just go up and touch when they're 3 or 2 years old, and they're just meant to do that.
Yeah.
You know, when I was little, you got your hand smacked and don't you dare touch. But now the little ones do, and then they're so wise by the time they get out of first grade, second grade, third grade. And I don't know if some of the parents realize how wise those little ones are.
That is such a great point, Susan, and the fact of the matter is that was part of our outreach, that kids today are very technologically savvy, and so we wanted to reach out to parents too and let them know they have to be involved and to be on top of what's going on in their children's lives as it relates to technology, because it's here to stay.
Oh.
And it's something we all have to be cognizant of and make sure that we're on top of it and being vigilant, looking out for our children.
Yeah, and it is, please, Mom and Dad, know that these little ones, they know a lot more than you do by the time they're in 4th or 5th grade, and unless you're, computer people that have grown up with it. But I think that was a super, super awesome idea.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
to introduce the children.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we're going to have some encore presentations because it was so widely popular in the area, and
Wow.
and I think people are catching on that it is such an important subject matter, and so we're going to continue our efforts to keep these presentations coming. And then we have, besides the technology series, we have a drug summit coming up
Oh.
to reach out to deal with the drug issues in our communities. That's going to be very comprehensive. I'm working on that now. Also a domestic violence series that we'd like to do in the libraries.
Breaks my heart.
Yes, and it's also very, very important. And in the fall, we're looking at a teen violence and teen dating series that we're going to be looking at.
I really am so surprised at the young girls, that, because when I was a young girl, which was back in cave days, if someone would have done that to me and I would have come home and said something, or I know my brothers would have heard about it,
Right.
there would have been, look out, Lucy. But today, nobody can do anything to anybody because then you get in trouble, And girls, they really have to know that they are special.
Yeah.
And that's
Yes.
the one reason, and I've got this through to quite a few young ladies, is that you bring a baby, a human being, into this world.
Absolutely.
And that is why you are so very, very special.
Without a doubt.
And they hear that. You can tell them, oh, this or, whatever. But you are a magnificent person, and you are so needed because you're going to bring a baby into this world. And I'm so proud of you that you're going to get down to the young girls.
Without a doubt. And I have a daughter and a son.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very, very important to me. And I come from a real big family. I have six brothers and sisters.
Wow.
Like 3 and 3, like the Brady Bunch, But my mom also is my hero.
Oh.
So I love not only the women in my life and my daughter and my wife but also we're all equal, and that's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what has to be. We have to present that.
Yeah, and it's grown. It's just evolved. It's just evolved.
Absolutely.
Now, what about the drugs? What kind of?
Well, we're going to have a wide discussion about all types of drugs, drug use, drug problems, what we can do to combat the problem. We want to bring some awareness out to educate the public on parenting and issues, how they can be more informed as it relates to those issues. I'm going to put some pamphlets out. I'm working with U.S. Attorney's Office and the Attorney General's Office on collaborating these ideas, and we're going to come up with a really, really solid, informative, educational forum that's going to, I think, help this area.
Well, I think if you could put this in there, no shame and no blame, because I know way back that when someone would say that, oh, so-and-so's child's using drugs or whatever, and they'd say, well, where are the parents? These children, they choose, okay? They go out and they choose. Unfortunately, they choose. But I could never be ashamed, never, because I was supposed to be a parent. But I met so many people through my life that are ashamed that their child experimented with drugs.
Right.
Why would you be ashamed of that? And then when you start to blame the child and blame his friends, and meanwhile, it's not getting to where you need to be. This is going to be a lifetime decision for you. And they do start very young. Mom and Dad have to know. They do start this very young.
Yeah, and that's why we want to reach out and have these programs in the community to educate and have parents, give them the tools to be prepared and try to prevent the issues before they might start. And you're right. I mean, sometimes our society, even though I am a judge, is too judgmental, and we have to take a step back and try to have some perspective. And I think that's important. And even people that come into my courtroom, I try to give everybody, a fair shake, and I also have resources that even individuals that I discuss and have discussions with about their problems or drug problems or issues. I give them pamphlets, and I've created a document that they can utilize to try to help assist them in getting, on the road to recovery.
Yeah, but you show an interest to them, and
Absolutely.
and you're not ashamed.
No.
I mean, it's just, it's something that happened. It's just that is what happened.
Right, and Susan, the thing about the drug issues in our community, and sometimes I talk about this, and when I'm out and about in the community, and I say, look, a lot of people don't realize this of about 4.5 or 4.4% or whatever the number is of the United States population in the world. We consume, the United States consumes 99% of the world's hydrocodone. I mean, if that's not eye-opening, we have a drug problem in this country. We have a drug problem in this state. We have a drug problem in this region.
Right.
And we have to face it. We have to figure out a way to combat it.
That's the word. You've got to face
Yep.
it.
It's about education. It's about helping each other out.
And not
working
being ashamed.
together. No, working together as a community.
And if we can, I always feel so bad when a family closes in, you know, when one of the children are in drugs. You can just see it folding to protect this person. Don't be ashamed. You should be open and way up and say, hey, I'm your mom, I'm your dad.
Yeah.
You know, and if this is the choice that you are going to do, then this is the road that we're going to take you and try to help you see what will happen.
Yeah. It's so important, not only with the family, the actual immediate family, but the community family and the religious family, and everybody coming together and working together to try to come up with solutions to this issue. And I can tell you, you know, that it's such an important thing to me to try to change the direction, the course of direction of our area, and make it, you know, a better, safer, cleaner environment in which we can all live in and be proud in. And the issue with this drug problem, I can tell you, it's beatable, but we all have to work together. And you're right, we have to come out, and a lot of people don't realize where sometimes the drug problem arises from. I mean, some people become hooked on drugs because of maybe they had an accident, and you know, they were prescribed a medication, a Schedule II medication, and that has a narcotic in it, and they get addicted. Yeah. You know, and then one thing leads to another, and they can't get prescriptions anymore, so then they go to the street. And
those are the sad people. I mean, they're all sad.
Yeah.
But, you know, I have read so many articles about a mother that had to take some pain pills, and she started using, and when she stopped, and it was like, well, I have to have that. And those are really powerful things, and they're not, when I go to the hospital, I'm famous for falling, and they write a prescription out. And I just say, here, I don't want this. Truly.
That's right.
Truly. Right. I had surgery on my neck, and they come in with, you know, this. And I said, it hurts, but it's supposed to hurt. Take Tylenol. Get that out of here. But they'll write those things out. They just write them out.
You bring up such a great point. And when I was at the Attorney General's office, that's one of the areas that I worked on, in drug diversion. And what a lot of people don't realize is a lot of these so-called professionals, these doctors who went to school for years and spent all that money to become a doctor, they're some of the worst, you know, contributing individuals to the problem. Yeah, because they're we call them script mills. These doctors are writing script after script and creating the drug problem in our communities. We arrested a doctor not too far from here in McMurray a number of years ago. He's spending time in a federal prison in West Virginia right now.
Good.
And I was glad to be part of that. And there's a number of other cases where, you know, we arrested doctors for overprescribing drugs or being what we call a prescription mill.
Yeah, you know? I was really devastated when I found out that doctors would do this. They're doctors, and they're supposed to be taking care of us. And guess what? It's time to go.
Time to go. Are we wrapping up?
Yep, wrap it up.
Boy, that was fast.
Wrap it up, Judge.
Well, I really enjoyed this first show, especially with you, Susan. Aww. You're awesome.
You're awesome, kid.
And I can tell you that we're looking forward to a number of great shows coming up. Yes. I'm on the horizon here. I'm going to have a renowned leader in drugs to come and talk about the drug problem in more detail. We're also going to have, I'm hopeful, I'm going to come up with some interesting guests. We're going to talk about mental health issues, drug problems, issues in the courts. We just scratched the surface today on the show, and we're gonna have a lot of other interesting and compelling topics coming up.
Okay, now it's time to say thanks for dropping in.
Thanks for dropping in. We enjoyed seeing you all, and look forward to seeing you on BPTV real soon. Thank you.